Hi, this is Vicki from Grammy Bee's Junk Journals. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Last week I went to several antique shops and was fortunate enough to find some really great books that I am starting to deconstruct so that I can make them into junk journals. And I wanted to start making some ephemera to put into the signatures. So I want to share that project with you in case you might want to make some of these for your own journals. And so the first thing I wanted to share with you are these books. I got 4 of them, and they're gorgeous. The covers are in perfect shape. They're embossed, and I just absolutely love them. So they have the date right on the front. So this is in 1952. The text, the pages are in beautiful condition. I mean, they must have just been on a shelf and never touched. Just perfect condition. So the next one is 1949. So I have taken the text block out and will be starting to work on the journal itself very soon. Again, all 4 of these are in such good condition. This is a 1957. And I've taken this one apart. And then the last one is a 1959. All of them are in mint condition. So I will be using a lot of the pages in the junk journals as I create them. Now, what I wanted to show you today were some pockets that will be put on one of the signature pages in there. So I've made them from an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and there's 1, 2, 3 pockets, and then if you were to glue, when I put them into the signatures, if I glue on 3 sides, leave the middle open, that will be a 4th pocket. So they're going to be quad pockets when they are put into the journals. And I just want to show you the 3 that I have made. So again, they're going to be vintage because that's what these journals are going to be. They're going to be have that, everything in there will be vintage. I have been collecting a lot of vintage ephemera, photographs, lots of things from estate sales and auctions over the summer. So I'm going to start using them. But I wanted to share the pockets with you that I've gotten made so far. So on this one, I have just made a little cluster here on the very front section, and there's a little bit of scrapbook paper, some lace, a vintage photo, a stamp, and a little bit more of that paper. I have inked all the way around. This is a little vintage tag. It's actually, I believe, from a bridge game, a bridge scorecard, I think that's what this is. And this is an old photograph, 1942, I believe. And then this is a bookmark, Michigan State Fair, Grand Rapids, Michigan, 1899 bookmark. So that is quite a little find. So this will go in one of the books. So I'm excited about that. And then this one. So I've put a big flower here. Inside is another one of those little cards. And I've just added some lace at the top. A vintage photo again, 1940s on this. And then this is just, this is a tag from, I think, like a perfume advertisement on it. And the back is empty, so that would be great for journaling or to add a photo. And I've just slipped that on there. I've also sewed around the outside. And then this one, I have put some lace here, and I've taken image of a butterfly and some flowers. It came from a book, a nature book, and I've just glued that on here. There's a pocket here with a tag, so there's one pocket, 2 pockets here with a vintage photo, again, I think in the 1940s. This is another photo, 1940s for that, during the wartime. So there's 1, 2, 3 pockets. This one is a 4th pocket, just another piece of ephemera that can be used for a journaling tag. And then again, I've sewed around the outside. And then if you glued the 3 sides, put it right into a signature, a page, inside cover, that would be great. So I've made the pockets. Then if you've watched my other videos on organizing my supplies, I have just pulled these out of my 3-ring binders. So one of my binders is just vintage photos, and I wanted to use some of my adult photos. So I just grabbed this out and brought it to the table with me. So as I was making them, I could just pull out a photo. This one, I just wanted to add some nature elements. So I have another binder. These are from book pages or magazine pages. And so I've labeled this butterflies. And actually there are a few little animals because I took this in my travels. And so as I'm sitting there riding in the vehicle, I was cutting and I just threw my little squirrels in here. So I got to get those squirrels out, put them in my wildlife folder. But this is my butterflies. So I knew I wanted to use some butterflies. So I pulled this out of my binder and brought this to the table. And then I have another binder with some ephemera, and I did include that in one of my other videos, my organization videos, where I have a small, a medium, and large ephemera folder. And so I brought this because I knew I wanted kind of some medium pieces to, you know, to put in some of the bigger pockets here. So these came in really handy as I was creating these pockets because everything was nice and organized in these pockets for me. I just had to grab them out of the binder, bring them to my table, and then I could quickly go through them. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and just show you how I made these little pockets. It's very simple, and I'm sure there's 1,000 different ways to make pockets. This is just, if you haven't made these, it's a really easy project. So these I just tore out from my Sears and Roebuck, and I trimmed them down so it was 8.5 by 11. So it's like a regular size copy paper. Now you can definitely make them any size that you want to. This is just the size that I wanted for these books that I'm going to be making. So let me get these out of here so it doesn't get in the way. So I just took this paper like this, and so it is the hot dog way, and I just fold them up like this, or I should say horizontal, right? Horizontal or hot dog, right? So I just brought it up like this. So it would be about the same amount of distance from here to here, right? Now, it doesn't have to be. I'm just kind of measuring it like that. Then I'm going to kind of just put it so it's laying flat, horizontal. Then I'm going to fold it this way. Now, I'm not going to, you know, it could be any width that you want it. You can make it really skinny or you can make it wider. These are about 5 inches or so. So it really depends on how big that you want it. But if you look at this right here, you know, this is maybe, I don't know, 4 inches or so. But this is just a nice small pocket in front. So I am just kind of going to eyeball it and bring it over like this. So I'm going to have one pocket here, and then I'll have one pocket here. Okay. So I have my paper. I'm folding it one fold like this. So I have this over here and a little bit up top. Then I'm going to bring it down so it's laying flat. I'm going to bring it over so it's maybe 4 inches or so, but again, make it as wide as you want. Then we're going to bring this over like that. Now this is where I measured it because I wanted it about 5 inches. So if I look at my mat here, I can measure 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to make it a little bit wider. Again, if you are a person who needs to be exact, just get your ruler out if you know, or use your mat like I did here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 inches across. Now, you could, you know, put this underneath like that or like this. I went ahead and put this here and this here, okay? This is going to give me 1, 2, 3, and then if you glued these 3 sides down on your paper, you're going to have this as well, okay? So comparing it to this one, this pocket is right here. This pocket is right here. And this pocket, did I do that right? Right here. And then this pocket will be back here. So from here, I went ahead and took my Distress ink and, oops, I better get that out of the way before I ruin it. I went ahead and took my Distress ink and I went all the way around, you know, all the edges that I wanted to be inked. I just kind of took it apart a little bit, inked it all the way around, all the edges that I wanted inked. That's what I did. Then I took it to my sewing machine. Okay, so I started here. I sewed all the way down, all the way across, and then up. And that got me this right here, 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 and here. Now, if you see right here, this little corner, I tucked in. So this corner is this corner right here. So I actually need to tuck that in. Before I sew it, I just want to kind of tuck it in. Now you don't have to. I liked this right here. I liked that corner tucked inside the pocket. So that way, you know, I have this space over here. So then I went ahead and sewed it. Now, you don't have to sew it. If you don't sew it, what you're going to want to do is glue this flap down like this, and then glue this flap down like that so that it is closed, okay? Because you want your bottom closed, otherwise everything you put in is going to fall out. So it's absolutely okay if you don't sew. You know, that's fine. But if you don't, you want to make sure that you glue this flap down and glue this flap down so it's nice and secure, okay? Then you can embellish it. Now, I didn't want to go too heavy on the embellishments up here because I wanted my pockets to be filled up. So, like for this, the only embellishment that I added was down here, the lace and the butterfly. Now this one, I wanted, because this one I used regular cardstock, double-sided cardstock, so you can see, you know, you can see the difference. It's got the 2 sides. So I like that too. It's just a little bit different. So, you know, you can use old book pages or you can use scrapbook paper. Doesn't have to be double-sided. If I just had single-sided, this would be white, you know, and this would be white, and that would be just fine. So I wanted more of the scrapbook paper to show, so I went ahead and added some lace here and lace here, and then when I was choosing my embellishments, they were a little bit smaller, you know, because I wanted more of the pocket to show, where this one not a lot of the pocket was showing, but I chose bigger pieces of ephemera and a little bit more. I think I added 1 or 2 more pieces. And then for this one, you know, I sewed it. I added the cluster, you know, and the photo up front. So this has a little bit more embellishment. And then again, I added smaller things to go in the pocket because I did not want this covered up. So like this one, I wanted a bigger embellishment. So I went ahead and folded it like this. I put this one down first and then this so that I would have this bigger piece to work with because I wanted an embellishment, a bigger, I wanted it to put a cluster here. So that's why I wanted this bigger piece. So I'm going to go ahead and fold up another one just so, you know, I want to make sure that you're understanding how to do this. So again, 8.5 by 11, so it's horizontal. We're going to fold it up like this. I have maybe, well, how much do I have? 1.25 inches. So I've got 1.25 inches on this side and about that much up here. Then I'm going to bring it down like this, and I'm going to just fold some over. Again, I'm going to eyeball it. And then I'm going to bring some over on this side. Again, I want it maybe 5 inches, so I'm going to go ahead and use my mat here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, I mean, you can definitely use your ruler, you know, your bone folder, all of that. I am not, because I'm just not. I don't need to. And there you go. Again, I wanted the bigger side on the outside because I think I'll do a cluster here, okay? But you didn't have to do it that way. You could do this side so you have your pocket here showing. So it's really whatever you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and sew it. So I will just sew here, here, and here. That closes it all in. If you're not going to sew, remember, you're going to want to glue the bottom. And then you have 1, 2, 3, and then you'll have, if you just glue the 3 sides, you'll have the middle as a pocket. If you just want the 3, then go ahead and put glue here, lay it down on your page, okay? Now let's do, these are just scrapbook papers. This one's directional, so I don't know how this is gonna end up being, so let's check this out. So 8.5 by 11, I'm going to fold it up, maybe about 1.25 inches will show, okay? Then I'm going to flip it over like this. I am going to fold it over a little bit, like that, a few inches, maybe 4 inches. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, you could do 6-inch, maybe you want a 6-inch wide pocket, maybe you want a 4-inch wide pocket. It's totally up to you. Tell you what, why don't we do a 4-inch? 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see what that's going to look like. Now that's going to be, I don't even like that. I'm not going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just, I like the 5-inch. I want it to be 5 inches wide so that I can fill it with some ephemera. Okay. So I like that. It's the 2 front and back of that scrapbook paper. Again, you've got a bigger piece here. So if you wanted to do like a cluster or a picture or something like that, you might want this on the outside. But you also might like it like this too. So you have 1, 2, 3, and then you could do this. So again, this is where you would sew here, here, and here, or just simply glue these 2 flaps down so that it's secure, and then you can go ahead and fill up your pockets. Now you can put lots of embellishment. You could add lace, you could add pom-pom trim, you could add rickrack. So lots of different things here that you could add. And then I'll just do one more, and let's do it this way. So this is a one-sided paper. Let's put the print down and see what it's going to turn out to be like. So again, we got about 1.25 inches up. We're going to flip it like this. we will bring some in, maybe 4 inches, and then we're going to do about 5 inches down on the bottom approximately. And again, you know, if you wanted to use your bone folder to, you know, get everything looking great, you know, you could definitely do that. With the scrap paper, it is a little bit thicker, so you might want to do that. Now, this is what it looks like. I like that. That looks nice to me. Now, again, if you want the bigger side showing, because maybe you want to do a cluster or a photo or maybe a big flower or something, you might want this flap left on the outside. But you also might want, maybe you like this white here and you want those pockets like that. So regardless, either like this or like this, this is where you're going to sew, here, here, or here. If you're not sewing, you're going to go ahead and glue your 2 flaps down like this, and then your pockets are ready to be decorated, filled up with ephemera, whatever you would like, put into your signatures or your covers, however you would like it. But that is just an example of how you can make some quick, great pockets that you can add into your journals. And it's really a great stash buster as well, because you can use, you know, any of your scrap paper. Maybe you've got paper, maybe you've got some scrapbook paper that you don't really absolutely love. This would be a way to use that up. Maybe you have some old newspapers that, you know, they're vintage and you have been wanting to use them. You just don't know for sure how to use it. All you would have to do is cut it down. Like I said, I was using cut down to 8.5 by 11. This makes a great size pocket, but you could make it larger or smaller, whichever you prefer. But this would be a great project to use up some of those large book pages that you don't know what to do with, or newspapers or magazines that are just laying on your tables or shelves or whatever. You don't know what to do with it. Cut it down. Cut the pages down to 8.5 by 11. Create some of these great projects, these great pockets to use up in your journals. So thanks for coming along. I appreciate you stopping by my channel, and I hope I have inspired you to get creating, use some of your stash to make some of these great pockets. Bye-bye.